it actually goes back pretty far at this point. But it all started. I at the time I was speedrunning Monkey Island 2, and I was going back and forth with Steve, and at one point in time, Steve moved over and started working on Monkey Island 1. So I was watching him do that, and at the time there was, I think, only one runner on the leaderboard, which is crazy to say if you look at the leaderboard nowadays. A lot of people have put their stamp on Secret of Monkey Island, but just kind of watching Steve and thinking, yeah, there's a lot that could be done for the speed run, and that's what got me in.
I actually never intended to speedrun The Secret of Monkey Island. It kind of started as a byproduct of getting pretty good at sword fighting, which I originally picked up just to scratch the speedrunning itch at the time. I'd been following the previous runners and it looked really fun, so eventually I thought, what the heck, I might as well give the full run a try. In the end, it turned out like it always does. I let it completely consume me, but I've had an absolute blast running it.
Yeah, I was definitely attracted to the game when I was younger just because of the play style and the kind of art that it had and the kind of humor and stuff like that. So I've been playing it for a long time, and just after having beat it so many times the normal way, it was really exciting to get the time more and more down to the point where I was beating it multiple times in a single day. So I was like, maybe I can take this even further, and I've been just trying to work it ever since then. And I think that the kind of emotional and sentimental value of the game plays a big role too, and just why I started in the first place and why I would carry on with it in the future.
Well, I think there's a couple things. In the last 2 years, I've been getting into playing retro games, and in the last year, I was visiting Ribrek, and he was playing a lot of Monkey Island, and so I just sat and watched full runs. And after that, I didn't really pick up the game for another 6 months or 7 months, and then when I picked up the game and the Scum VM emulator, I started playing, and it's been really fun. I love pixel graphics games as well, and so it helps. It's really beautiful.
At the time, I was running the special edition. I thought I could run the original game, and then go back to the special edition to use what I learned. Ended up liking running the original too.
I think that I haven't really left playing the game yet, but I think that what keeps me interested is just sort of how deep the run can get, and just when you have everything down, it's sort of like navigating a new state. It's you have the map and you know how to read it. That's how it feels like. And then when you come back, I'm guessing, it takes a bit of time to remember how to read the map, or, run the game. But once you get going, I feel like the rhythm and flow that you get into when you're playing the game is pretty good. It's addicting for sure.
Well, someone sniping the word record will probably help bring me back. But seriously, I think a big part of it is that it's still fun trying to optimize the run further. I've always liked the speedrun mindset that the current way of doing things is probably wrong somehow, and that there's still something left to improve or rethink.
What keeps me coming back, I would say, is that it feels like, over the years, we've said, to ourselves, well, it feels like we pretty much solved the game, and then something new gets found. And at this point, I've learned my lesson, and it does feel like there's still more to be found with the game. There's feels like we're close to some breakthroughs with certain glitches and other things, and so just all all finding big things, little tiny optimizations. Just feels like there's always something there.
I definitely would say it's the fact that all the runners kind of throughout the community keep finding ways to come back and make the game even more optimized. And even though it's kind of slowed down over the past couple of years, just because there's been so many huge discoveries, it's just exciting, the potential for more great things to happen. And also just the fact that everyone in the community is so supportive, and you always feel like when you do a run, you could do one a little bit better. So I think that kind of gives it the replayability. And I always find myself, even if I take a break from it for a little bit, I come back to it.
It's a very funny game, isn't it? Some dialogues and situations are as witty as they can be. And, if you ask me, the fact that during a speedrun we skip all of that, is also funny.
So my absolute favorite moment, and this is very self-indulgent, but this goes back to an episode of the GDQ hotfix where I think the episode was, they called it a time capsule episode, and so this episode was themed around games that released in the year 1990, and so at the time I was one of the top Secret of Monkey Island runners, and so they asked if I'd do a run, and I did, and well, lo and behold, that run turned into a world record run, which stood for quite a while, but did of course eventually get beaten, but and in fact that was the last time I had ever held the world record, but so that was a special moment in my career, I'd say.
It's normal that soon after a speedrun history video is released, it becomes obsolete. In this game, it was extreme. When One Short Eye's video was released, the consensus was like, the run has reached the point where you really need to get credit early to compete with the top runners. Leolitz proved it wrong. The very next day. I've only found about it recently, but I think it's amazing. If you're asking about a more personal experience, that'd probably be part 3 during my last run of this game. The run started as nothing special, but suddenly in part 3 every tricky movement went well and got a gold split entering the catacombs. After getting the head glitch a few seconds later, I was on my best pace ever, out of nowhere.
Earlier this year, I guess it was last year now, on my birthday, I got my first ever sub 30, and Wild Z was there with me in person, and we just celebrated because I was like, a sub 30 was something that I really wanted, and to get it on the night of my birthday was really kind of special, and like the kind of reaction and hype that we had around it was something that was like really palpable at the time, and I just remember it fondly.
Double up on that for sure, but also later on when I started playing the game, we were in a Discord call together and I was running it, and my first sub 30 was also like not recorded, but it was on a Discord call with him. That was cool. It was a mirror.
Gee, there are too many moments to choose from. For a while it was of course getting credit early. Now that the RNG is fixed by the seed, that adrenaline rush is obviously gone. But actually it's just been pushed forward to the sword fighting part. Getting ready to face Carla at PB pace is exhilarating. I was also happy to find and bring something new to an already very optimized run. But my proudest personal moment was actually pulling off the almost frame-perfect Navigator's Necklace trick in the catacombs. When One Short Eye mentioned in the speedrun history video that no one's pulled it off in a world record, I knew I had to go for it.
I really like the pace of the runs. There's a nice balance between intense moments and times where you can take a small break. Then there's a slight increase in tempo in the second half, which keeps it interesting until the very end. Also, unpopular opinion, I think speedrunning saveless insults sword fights is awesome.
I think a big part of it is the nostalgia. So Monkey Island 2 specifically, but Monkey Island 1 close behind is some of the very earliest memories I have of video games, playing through Monkey Island 2 with my dad, and yeah, it was one of those game franchises that I would always come back to, and going, so yeah, it's got that big nostalgia factor. And going back onto something I said earlier, just it feels like there's always something more something more to be done with the Secret of Monkey Island speedrun.
I think I have to really stress that like the community is something I never expected. Like I said, growing up, knowing the game like as a kid, having it be a staple rotation at our house, it's just like the fact that there's a whole other group of people, and it is like a little bit niche in a way. So I think it's really a special place where everyone kind of knows what each other's talking about. And it's like a different kind of community where there's no like cynicism really with it. It's only about progression, and I think that really helps when you're doing speed runs where it's like you have support to back you up, even though it's kind of in the distance. Just having that kind of general support is really special, I think.
I mean, it's arguably the most iconic point-and-click adventure game ever made, so that already makes it feel special to run. But what really makes it interesting as a speed game to me is that there always seems to be more depth to it than you first expect. Over the years, the community has found all these optimizations, reroutes, and strategies that completely change how the game is played, and I think that's really cool. A lot of the run comes down to knowledge and routing as much as raw execution, and I think that's what makes it stand out.
The community for sure is really important. Like watching One Short Eye's video on Monkey Island was cool. Like all the people who are in the community are like genuinely so nice, which is really cool. And also the link that it has to all the other like adventure games through the Discord is really cool. Like I think that it's not just Monkey Island that's a cool speed game, but like a lot of the LucasArts and the Sierra games seem to be really fun.
It might still be possible to lower the time by a second, or even two, if you get that magic run with perfect execution and perfect RNG. Nah, just kidding. I think at some point someone will find one or more significant time saves, and at some other point somebody will raise the execution bar and start getting times we can't even dream of. Just like it's happened time and again in every speedrun there's ever been.
Well, I don't think we'll see any new major skips anytime soon, because most of the run feels pretty solved at this point. That said, someone will probably save some time by figuring out a seed or method for even faster catacombs, and you can potentially save a few seconds by forcing family reunion for the sword fighting, so maybe that will become the new grind method. All in all, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a sub-24 run eventually. That's my bold prediction.
I think my only bold prediction is sort of selfish because I would like to see Leo Litz get back into running the game because he has such a different way of playing that I think it would be interesting to see what he could do with the new strats.
I think that it would be awesome to get a few more categories, and something that Wilds and I have been like discussing just because we've been experimenting ourselves, and I've seen other people like the Wolves and Frozen Spade as well, but doing like speed run races or like a relay, maybe a category where 2 or 3 runners do a different segment of the run and pass the baton off virtually through the computer, or save states or something like that. I think that could be a really awesome way to go.
Or physically just trade off at the computer.
Even in person, yeah.
That'd be crazy.
That would be
That would be so fun to watch. So I think a new category would be great, and I want to integrate like other kind of elements of other speedruns. Like I know a blindfolded run is really bold to say, but that is something I want to achieve with like the special edition, for instance, because there's a lot more kind of like tactile input with all the audio cues and stuff like that. So I think that it's possible, but it's going to take a lot of work.
Yes, I do. My bold prediction is that we're going to see an expansion of these set seed manips to include sword fighting, at least in some capacity, whether it's a fully manipped or partially manipped. So, part of the sword fighting, and then as well as expanding that out to the catacombs. And we've seen hints of this being worked on. It's just very difficult, and at least with the seed we have been using, which is some of like the hottest new tech, is the set seed manip stuff. But it has been proven to be possible to at least do the catacombs. So the next frontier after that would be, can we do some amount of manips on the sword fighting? So, stay tuned for that.